Well, you mentioned mine, but mine is a literal shit you couldn't make up in that it was you mentioned it that Lamar Jackson had to leave the game. Apparently it was because he said it was because of cramps, but I think it was pretty obvious he either had to shit or did in fact shit himself on the field or on his way back because you could tell by the way he was moving and the fact that he was able to come back into the game and throw a touchdown pass that he got over the cramps pretty quickly, or he just got rid of the shit and changed his uniform very quickly.
Well, the cramping and the shitting could be tied to one another.
Yeah, well, it's an easy way to explain away why you had to leave the game in a pivotal moment, but that led to all sorts of jokes. Go instead of Superman, he's Pooper Man, and he had to go for two, and he did it against the Browns. But that was such a literal shit you couldn't make up. It was hard not to bring up. So it made me think about stories where we've all had it's all happened to us, maybe not in such conspicuous light with millions of people watching on TV, but I have to admit I have shit myself in public once or twice in my history. I was wondering if you had any shitting yourself stories.
I have a great shitting myself story.
I thought you might. I wasn't sure, but I've got two.
I have a great one, and I'm totally willing to share. So,
I'm gonna share both of mine. So go ahead and share.
All right. So this is in. So I'm an adult. Let's just start off. These stories are going to consist as we're considered adults, right?
Well, I was 12 in one of mine.
Okay, so
I was definitely an adult in the second one.
This one, I am 22, 23 years old. I have finished my lunch at Fuddruckers. I don't know if anyone remembers Fuddruckers, but I don't think there's many left, if any at all.
It sounds like a place that would make you shit.
I have finished lunch at Fuddruckers, and I'm with my wife Tracy at the time, and we're only engaged at this point, so she had every opportunity to run. And as we're walking out to the car, I feel like I'm going to just fart, but it was a shark. It was a shark.
That's the worst.
And I looked at her. And I said, we were planning on going to run around that afternoon and do some stuff. And I said, honey, you need to take me home. I've just shit myself.
Awesome. Fuddruckers.
Yeah, it was green too. There was definitely something not too good going on. So
right, that might be TMI, but
it was almost like a camouflage. It was a salute to the military.
We got more than we bargained for on that one, but
Smitty.
My first of two shit myself stories was aforementioned when I was at summer camp when I was 12 years old up in Fairview, Michigan, in northern Michigan. We had like our bunk houses, but then there was it wasn't an outhouse. It was like just a separate building where there were a bunch of toilets. So I don't know what we were doing. It was in the evening. I know that. And suddenly I had to shit, but that outhouse facility was like 100 yards down the road. So I started doing the same Lamar Jackson waddle over as fast as I could over to the latrine. Didn't even come close to making. I was probably still 50 feet away from the building before just everything let loose.
Dang.
So I continued my walk. Fortunately, there's nobody outside at that point, and there's no one in the bathroom when I finally got in. So by then, I'm basically in tears, not knowing what to do. I got into a stall, dropped my drawers and just full of shit. I don't know if I was like audibly crying because some kid came in and he actually looked under the door. I remember, like, he knew something was wrong, and I'm like. And he of course he was horrified. I was horrified that this kid was looking at me while I'm sitting there in my shit shame. And all I could do was just yell. Our counselor was named TJ. So I'm like, go get TJ, go get TJ. And the kid took off. TJ is probably, just like a college age camp counselor. Gets there in record time. I thought it was going to be 10 minutes before I heard from it. He gets there and rips the door off the hinges basically because the kid put the fear of God in him somehow. Like I thought he may have thought I was dying and was like he was going to open the door and see
Oh,
like a
this is great.
bloodbath or something.
This
Instead, he
is
just
great.
saw a 12-year-old me just covered in shit, not knowing what to do. So somehow we got cleaned up. My shame was shared by only TJ, whoever you are, I don't remember, and whatever that fucking kid that decided to look under the door. Maybe he's an angel. Maybe he saved my life, but I was pissed at the time that he's had the audacity to look under the door and find out what was happening with.
Every time a kid shits himself, an angel gets its wings.
So somehow I survived that, but somehow I didn't learn my lesson because I want to say probably 30, 35
Oh,
years
whoa.
later,
Oh,
uh,
wow. This
I
is
would
going
have,
to be good. This is the
yeah,
one I
maybe not
want to
35,
hear.
no, because that'd be today.
I was going to say, would
This
this
is
happen a few weeks ago or
this is
what?
about 10 years ago.
All right.
I was living in Uptown in my condo. I was at the Bar Buena that you have been to many
Oh,
times.
yes.
Somehow I think I was with Vit, and we decided it is a whiskey bar, but I never drink whiskey there. I'm a beer guy anyway, but somehow we got into the whiskey. And this bar is, mind you, only 2 blocks from my house, and not a dangerous journey at all. But we were leaving. Vit went his way. I went a different direction than I would normally walk home. I don't know why. Like I went like a block out of my way. Maybe I was just disoriented from the whiskey. And I realized, like, all of a sudden, like, I had no urge to shit, no even inkling there was a shitting issue coming up. And it hit me. And I was 3 blocks away from my place instead of 2 blocks. And it literally came, I got a little bit closer to my place. It came to the point where I was looking between parked cars where I could drop trow. I was in that desperate a situation.
Depending on where you were, but now if you were in the neighborhood,
Well,
like going to your place, then that would be
I
probably not good. But if you were a little more on the public side of the street, no one probably would have batted an eye.
Well, I don't, I'm not bragging about my neighborhood. I live in a pretty nice neighborhood. Not that my place is amongst these, but I happen to live next to the Hutchinson district, which is
Yeah,
multi-million dollar mansions. So
the homes around the block by you is fine. I'm saying like if you were on the other side towards Bar
yeah, I
Bueno
was
when you did
not.
this, you would have been
Yeah.
fine.
Well, the main thought that came in my head is, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to shit myself rather than try to shit between these cars, and knowing that my neighbors may or may not have seen me doing this, that I'd be living next to for the next several years. And I ended up thinking, when you get the spasm and you think it's coming, but then you can like squash it down somehow. I did that. Didn't have to squat between the cars. I decided I'm gonna try and make it to my place. So I still had like a half a block to go. Got into my building. My building. It's got the
Yeah,
longest fucking hallway in Chicago, probably, to get
sh-
down to my
sh-
place finally.
shining guys, just think
Yeah.
shining.
I made it all the way down that hallway. I only have one set of stairs to go up. Got up the stairs, got to my front door even, struggled with the keys. I was trying to get the
So
keys.
basically the shit acted like Michael Myers or Jason, and
Yes.
you're fumbling, you
I
couldn't get the
fumbled the
keys.
keys.
Shh,
Don't fumble the keys, kids. And I ended up shitting myself outside my front door.
wow, that would what a huge disappointment, right? Like you must have
Ruined.
been
I was this close. I was 10 feet away from my
yeah.
toilet. I ruined my
Wow.
jeans, ruined my shoes. I didn't get anything
Uh,
on the floor. It all was contained within my jeans and my shoes, but I put those in a garbage bag immediately and just threw those out. I could have tried to wash that up, but that's not
yeah,
that's not my MO. It's time to just buy
yeah,
new shit at that point.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's like whenever my kids like have had accidents, I'm like, just give me that. This ain't
yeah.
going. It's going on one place to garbage.
Yeah, so those are my shitting stories. I think I've sharded other times, but nothing as
Yeah,
dramatic as that. But
I feel I I'm trying to like I mean obviously I've had other episodes
you haven't had a full dump?
as like a kid or something, but nothing like that comes to mind that was funny like the
Well,
Fuddruckers one.
you're
And the
young. It could still happen. It happens to the
uh,
best of us.
well, no, now it's going to happen again because I'm getting old. We'll be reverting back to diapers.
Well,
So
be sure to share it with the podcast when it does
yeah,
happen.
yeah. we'll have shit you could make up, like you said,
Literal,
literally. Yeah.
literal.